Okay, so video number 2, and you see I've got a sort of like a line going on here, so no pause in the whole thing. Fill path, okay, and we're just going to try and change the layer again, see where we're getting to. There we are. So he's coming out quite blocky, quite nicely. Just get rid of the path there. Okay, so it's looking pretty good so far. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring this back up again, so I know what I'm looking at. And this time I'm going to actually draw again, but I'm going to change the colour over here. Let me bring this in for you. If you change it to white and you draw over the mask again, the result is that wherever you paint white over black, then you reveal what's underneath. So at the moment, this section here doesn't look it, but that's actually white. Let's just get rid of the drawing. This section here is a white shape over a black image. So if I just lose the link for a second, I can move that around. So there's our black silhouette originally, and there's the new silhouette that we've pasted over the top. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to paint. I'll just do it again with the brush to show you that I'm not messing around here. I'm telling you the truth. If I paint with the brush in white, I can erase and go back to that original silhouette. Okay, so let's go to the pen tool, and I'll just recenter my image again. There we are for you. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to bring that image back so I can see it again. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to erase some of these sections. So there's that section there. Fill path. Click OK, so you can see it's now coming black. Same here. Fill path. Okay, so he's in black. Now the eyes. One eye. Fill path. Now it's going to go black completely. So we'll have to get rid of that in a moment. That's okay. You'll see what we're doing in a moment. And fill path again. Okay. Now I'm just going to drop that opacity down so that I can see what I'm doing. Because we're now going to go, I'm going to put some white details in around here. So we want to have it coming from an angle. And then we need it to be fairly well around there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go in and just select that, because I want a really thin line for the bottom of his eye. Thus, just like that. Okay, deselect it. And this time we're going to fill that area back to black again. So we're erasing the image that was there. I hope. There we are. Oops. Problem is I've got it selected. There we are. Keep it selected. Fill subpath. There we are. So you can go in and reselect those items and then select subpath. Okay, let's just deselect all of those paths for now. Bring it up full opacity, and you can see that I'm getting the lines in quite nicely. Okay, I need to go and fill his light in. I need to do the same, fill his whites in, and do the same over here. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's select that again. I think one of the problems that you must have sort of like watching these kind of videos is that it's all good, but it must be incredibly boring. I've actually seen some people saying, "Oh, isn't it boring watching these things?" Well, you know what it's like. If you don't like watching it, don't watch it. In fact, I think I'm actually going to pause this and just carry on doing the details here and work my way all the way through to the end. Any corrections I'll make a note of on the way through. Okay, and hopefully I'll show you the end piece where it's been completely illustrated. Okay, small update here. Finished the face now, working around on it exactly the same way I said. These pupils here, I actually did them in white. If I just turn this off for a moment, you can see that I actually did those separately on the new layer. Basically, just took two ovals using the circle tool here on Photoshop, the ellipse tool rather, did those, erased the top half of each of them to make them fit, and then added some small highlights down the bottom. Now I'm going to start working on the rest of the features down the bottom here, so lower the opacity down to here, so that I can actually see it, make that layer visible, and then I'll carry on working around the rest of the image. Okay, this is a worthwhile technique I can show you. Sometimes you might want to, instead of just moving one point using the selection tool here, you might want to use 2 points. So first thing to do is actually select the thing. Now if you can move one point, you click it and leave it. Now there's two things you can do. You can either click once, hold the shift key and click again, or you can actually just drag your cursor over the top and select more than 1 point. Once you do that, you can actually move the whole beam over. Can you see that? Okay, so this is a really useful sort of like technique. If you want to move things one at a time, drag and drop, drag it around. If you want to move the whole thing in parallel, then you can move sort of like two at once. I'm just trying to sort of like get his fingers right here, so it's always a bit tricky. Try and do is that, and I've got a bit of a bar going on here. And it's all about sort of like trying to get a fairly creative edge going on the inside. Okay, a thought struck me which haven't actually outlined on this project so far, and that is that if you've got Illustrator, of course, or any other vector drawing program, you don't need to worry about quite doing the sort of like the fill method. This is for Photoshop purely, but if you've got Illustrator or some other program which is similar, then of course you can just draw the lines in fairly simply and sort of like overlay them over each other. But using the cutout method, still do that because it's still worthwhile. Okay, so there we go. The image is finished as far as the black and white is concerned. What we're going to do now is I'm going to colour it all in, and then I'm going to use some various shading techniques. Although, to be perfectly honest, we're not going to do that on YouTube. What I'm going to do is, this is just part one of the video. If you'd like to see part two, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go and move straight over here to prodigitalartist.com. So you find part two here, and hopefully, it all being well, I'll have managed to put a link just to the right here, and you can just click the link and you can zoom over to prodigitalartist.com, the blog, and there you'll get some information on how to fill the another video tutorial on how to fill the shapes in, and then we're going to do some shadings, some colouring, get this image finished to a professional standard for my client, who will be paying me a significant and fun amount of money. So you can see that the idea using these pen tools and things is very simple to do. Okay, so hope to see you over at Pro Digital Artist, and please don't be afraid to leave me a comment to tell me what you think on the video. Okay, take care of yourself and see you over there. Remember, this is part two. Part two is on my own website.